And with us in the studio, financial coach and ANC's On the Money anchor, Salve Duplito, to tell us on how not to fall into investment scams like Aman Futures and where you can invest your money instead. Good afternoon, Salve.
Hi, good afternoon.
Wow, what a promising interest rate. 30% in 8 days. That's what Aman Future promises.
Right. Yeah, normally these scams, they're recycled. We've heard this story before. We've seen these things happen in Multitel and other investment.
Do you know why it happens all the time, Salva? One word, I think.
One word is greed. Okay, but I'll add one more word to that. Greed and inggit.
Inggit?
Yes. When these people tell you, you know, I'm earning 30% in 8 days, di ba parang, ako rin. Di ba, I want that. I want that for myself. I'll tell you honestly, I want that for myself.
Is that not ignorance?
That is also ignorance. That's why we're talking about financial literacy so much these days.
I almost fell victim to
because somebody offered you.
Because a close friend earned from it, and normally your friends will tell you to invest, and you trust that person who will tell you to invest because they earned from it anyway.
And are your friends crying now?
Yes, they lost their investment, and they migrated to Australia. I got my money because I listened to my mom to get my money.
So you pulled out
upon
just in
maturity.
time. Okay.
And a few weeks after, it just blew. So that is too good to be true, you say?
That is too good to be true. And 30% return in 8 days, there's no business on earth that can give you that much return. Well, look at the word guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed in 8 days. That should make you think already na this is too good to be true. And as they say, if it's too good to be true, I say, just walk away, diba?
But our financial regulators don't even look at the offers that these companies are making so that they could also be the one to issue a warning to the public and say, never believe a company that will ask you to invest with a promise of guaranteed 30% interest. I mean, they don't do that, right?
They do.
They do?
Actually, they do. And you know what? We, in ANC, we talked about this long before. Around 1 or 2 months ago, we talked about this On the Money. There was a lot of cry from SEC telling people not to invest in these kinds of instruments. Unfortunately, they can't reach talaga people on the ground.
You know what's ironic? Normally, these companies present a certificate that says that they are a legitimate company.
They do that in these clear books. I know what you're talking about.
And they are, how do you say?
Clear books.
Yung parang they are registered with the SEC.
Yes, they're registered with the SEC. They will show those documents
and show you checks.
And show you checks. Ito pa, when you have those
the modus
PDCs,
down pat, right?
Yeah.
I almost.
Kasi nga she invented.
Almost, buti na lang.
But you know, that's your tuition on financial literacy. Sometimes you lose money because you know, you invest in something that you don't understand. Pero there's no underlying business in it. Ang sinasabi lang sa'yo, they will give you the money in 8 days. But you don't know what they do with it. There's no business on earth that can give you that.
What's the
Yes.
registration with the SEC all about? What is that registration?
Sometimes you have to look at the word. Sometimes it's a registration to operate, but not to sell certain kinds of instruments. Kaya lang, you know, people just look at it and there's the logo and bam, okay, I'm in. Diba? Just as you said, it's greed and jealousy.
Jealousy. Well, hindi na mawawala yung dalawang bagay na yun. But how do you temper, or sabi nga nung isang whistleblower, how do you moderate your greed so that you don't fall victim to these scams?
Yeah, that's true nga. You have to know about the other options. This is why financial literacy comes into play, because if you know the risks and you know that there are other options, you go for the legitimate ones, diba? But I'm gonna tell you, I've been thinking that ever since this franc Swiss Multitel and stuff, I've written about this. I've looked at these things for the last 1 or 2 decades already. Okay, and I think that these are really moved by the same group of people. You know, when they get discovered, then they lie low for a couple of years, and then they come out again because they know that Filipinos have very short memories. You just want the returns and forget what happened in the past.
So where can you invest?
Okay.
If not in these pyramiding companies, of course.
Of course, you can.
What is what do you call that? A conservative percentage that a company can offer you that may will make them believable or somehow credible?
Okay, let's talk basic, okay? The returns right now are low because you want to look at the 91-day Treasury bill rate. That's the benchmark rate of everything. That's where they base the interest on loans and interest also on investment instruments. Kasi if you invest in that and then lend to someone else, then that's where you base your interest. And it's very low. Okay, so you want to go higher than that and you try different kinds of instruments. A little higher are the SDAs of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, and then a little bit higher maybe are corporate bonds. And it's not very expensive to get into this. These are, if you get into corporate bonds, maybe you'll get 5, 6, 7% return every year.
Every year?
Yes. Okay.
And for
then,
how long will you keep earning
it
interest?
depends on the tenor of the bonds, right? And then if you don't want to go to the stock market, there are different options. You can go mutual funds. Okay, there are different kinds rin naman. There are bond mutual, balanced mutual funds, which are a mix of bonds and equities. Or you can go equity mutual funds if you're really aggressive. And if you're conservative, you can go to the bond mutual fund. So there are different avenues talaga for investment. You can even buy real estate. It's much better than investing in a scam.
I have to ask you, Salve, with the victims that we see coming out and saying that they invested in a company like Aman Futures, are these the types of people who would be in a position, say, to consider alternate investments? Because if they were approached by Siguro, I don't know how they were approached, and offered these things, where do they go to check if they could get a better deal, a safer deal elsewhere?
Where do they go? They can watch On the Money.
If they have cable and if they're on
If they have
ANC,
cable.
okay.
If they don't, they can go to the website and check out the new column on ANC On the Money.
Okay.
But also, you can go look at the different websites of the different government agencies, okay, for different options. And at the same time, you can talk to bankers.
Okay.
There's
But these are
nothing
small
wrong with that.
people siguro who thought na, hindi naman ako ganun ka-sophisticated na investor. Hindi ko
Naintindihan
kilala yung
ko
mga
yan.
banker. Hindi ako marunong mag-internet.
Nahihiya ako,
Oo.
di ba? Hindi ako makalapit.
Oo,
Or
kanino?
worse, sasabihin nila, yung bangko lang ang kumikita, so ang baba lang ng interest rate. So,
It's true.
Who
Also,
else
and
can
these
they
are
turn
things.
to?
Who else they can turn to? They can go to, well, you said na nga hindi pwede ang bangko, no? You know, it's important that you ask this question because what we need to tell people is put their money in only in things that they can understand. So kung hindi pa nila type yung bonds, yung equities, ganyan, mag-aral-aral muna. Okay? Nasa dyaryo rin naman yan. Kung ayaw pa rin magbasa ng dyaryo, radyo. O, di ba? Pinag-uusapan din naman to in DCMM and in other radio stations. Kung ayaw ng website, kaya like, this is it eh. The tuition for not losing your money is taking the time to understand, taking the time to learn, read books, do something. Or, yun nga, yung pinakamalapit sa puso ng mga Pilipino, kung gusto mo talaga lupa, di sa lupa na lang. Kaya lang, these are things that, you need, there's effort. Pagka ito kasing mga scam, these are shortcuts. You don't want to think anymore because somebody is already earning that interest. So that laziness will cost you.
But you'd think it's a proven, it's tested and proven. Nakita mo, iba kumita. So yun may tendency ka talagang mauto eh.
Yun nga eh. There's a misconception among Filipinos on risk. Okay, feeling nila hindi to risky kasi may post-dated check akong hawak. Hawak ko na yung cheque. That's the big problem there. But here's what you forgot, default risk.
Pag tumalbog yung cheque.
Tumalbog yung cheque, wala ka pa rin. So, these
Teka, paano
things
nga ulit, Bernadette? Lalapitan ka, may dalang clear
Ito,
book.
ganito.
may clear book
Uy,
yan.
hindi ganito. Ako si Bernadette, kaibigan. Uy, Tony, kumita ako. Tingnan mo. Ay, naku, nag-invest ako 1 million. Tingnan mo, a
And this
couple
is
of
your friend, right?
Oo, kawawa nga sila. Alam mo what's really sad?
Yeah.
The entire family invested. Yung retirement ng parents
Is this
nila.
in Aman or in the
Tibayan
before?
pa eh. Tibayan,
Tibayan,
yes.
yeah.
Oo. So, and they would show you yun nga sa SEC requirements, ganyan,
Yes.
SEC documents.
And
na
don't
they
forget
are-
the Xerox of the
At may
cheque.
post-dated check.
Okay, the
Oh,
cheque
yes,
that they
yes.
encashed
Oo, oo,
already.
oo.
They
And
will
the people naman who will approach you are not lying because yun nga,
They're
victims
your
rin naman sa
friends.
later on. And ano talaga, they really want you to earn, di ba? So, kung pag naniwala ka, sama-sama kayong na-victimize.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, that's a problem there, di ba? Parang you have acquaintances or friends who experienced siguro quick returns on their
Yes,
money.
yes.
And sila ngayon yung gagamitin ng kumpanya na yon as living testimony.
Yes.
That's right.
Diba?
Oo. But you know what you need to remember? These things always fall down. Like a house of cards, they will fall down. And the question is, kasama ka ba dun sa makaka-pull out ng pera, which happened to you, fortunately, or kasama ka doon sa mga maiiwan? The scary part is, when I reported on the franc Swiss and Deutsche francs, you remember these things, I maybe year 2000, 2000 something, yun nga recycled eh.
Recycled.
Sometimes they fall fall through the cracks and then suddenly they're there. So I blogged about it. I broke the story. I was then with a Business Daily, and the people were mad at me. I was writing a blog and they emailed me and they said it's my fault that the company closed shop. They were blaming me for losing their retirement. And they said, you don't have a right to write about this because people will lose their money. And I say, kumusta naman? Kawawa naman yung mga tao sa ilalim. And you know what they told me? They don't care.
Ouch.
As long as they get their money, they don't care about the people at the bottom. And you see, it's a
talaga.
pyramid eh. When this falls down, everybody at the bottom,
Is there
kawawa
is
talaga.
there a listing of reputable companies that you can go to and invest?
Yes, because there are licenses that they need to have. For example, to sell insurance or to sell investment instruments, they have to be very well regulated by the central bank, by the insurance commission, by the SEC.
So you have to make sure that it has all three.
You have to make sure that it has all three, that it's managed by reputable people and they're tried and tested. So talaga, if you want to make money, take the time to understand what it is you're putting
We had
money in.
Attorney Lukban of the
Yes,
SEC
yes.
last night, and I was asking him, in the Philippine experience where we see these pyramid scams come and go, may nahuhuli ba? Sabi niya marami na daw nakakulong. But you did say na some of them just lie low
Yes.
and then repeat their operation at a time na sigurong vulnerable ulit yung tao na maggipit sa pera. Why do you think that there seems to be an inability, at least on the part of our agencies, to completely crack down or eliminate these people? I mean, sa states, diba? Sino ba si Charles Ponzi? That's how it
They
came to be
started
called the
that,
Ponzi
yeah.
scheme, right? How come these people manage to still proliferate?
Well, the truth is, these things, for example, were already sold in Mindanao.
Okay.
Parang under the radar. Lanao, for example.
Malayo, no?
Malayo.
Malayo.
So, and our government naman can't be everywhere at the same time. They're trying their best. We can see that sometimes there's regulations that sometimes I think these need to be strengthened a little bit further. But the real thing that can stop this is for our countrymen to stop putting their money there.
In
We can't just
risky
depend on the government
investments.
regulators. They need also to educate the people. Sometimes that's what's missing.
So it's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing, but it's not just the Philippines who's into this. There's
Of
Madoff, diba? A
Madoff,
couple of
Bernie
years
Madoff,
ago. So it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's greed.
It's human nature,
And
not
what's
Filipino
alarming,
culture.
it's not just yung simpleng mamamayan, but if the rumors are correct or the reports are correct, even mga public officials.
LGUs.
Officials,
Or
politicians.
you would expect them to be in the know,
Yeah.
diba?
Yeah, that's it. And the problem
So
is
in
they
the
might
know-
be in the know.
Greed naman, pa rin.
They just want the returns. Kasi syempre may kilala sila eh. So kung babagsak man to, akong uunahin itong babayaran.
Okay. So, in terms of regulation, nandun na siya, di ba?
Yes.
Enforcement lang ang kulang?
Enforcement, maybe strengthen the regulations a little
Strengthen
bit
it
more.
pa?
Yeah. For example, when a company comes to the SEC and asks for the license to
Yung
operate.
secondary license ba yung tawag nila doon?
Eh ngayon, pag nabigay na yung license, does somebody come back to the company and check whether they're actually selling what they said they would sell? Kasi I was part and parcel of I was in my previous life. I was with a company and they were trying to sell this kind of investment. And I went out. Parang supposedly part owner ako. And I heard and saw behind the scenes how they were trying to circumvent the SEC rules. You know, parang ilalagay lang nila, ito lang ilalagay natin sa ating license to operate, ganyan-ganyan. Pero the wordings lang yon. But the real instruments that they're selling are not licensed by the SEC. So,
My God.
somebody has to, after the license has been given, somebody has to follow through and see if the company is actually selling what they said they will sell.
Okay. Well, you said, Salve, that you've been writing about this for the past decade or two, and people haven't changed much. I guess their attitudes haven't changed much.
The answer to that is 12 billion pesos.
Oh my God. Okay. So, you know, whenever an investment scheme or a pyramid scheme like this falls through and people don't get their money, how can the government help them? Is there a way for the government to help them?
That's tough, you know. You have to go after the assets of the person, and even maybe a grand estafa case will not help you. So sometimes, yun nga sabi ko, tuition na lang.
Okay. So, School of Hard Knocks, you learn from experience.
I like that.
Salve Duplito from ANC On The Money. Thank you very much,
Thank you for
Salve.
having me.
Pleasure to have you at least at this part of the set on ANC and on the other studio for a change. All right.
Thanks.
Thank
I
you.
love your set.
Well, thank you. We do too.